and I have brought this back to books. Oops. I was off the rails for definitely parts of this video. Hello, I'm Jessie, the sleepy koala, because I am Australian and I'm always tired. And today I am also boiling hot because my office is completely closed in so I don't get sound, and I've got all of these lights and there's so much humidity. I'm kind of dying inside and out. I just feel so sweaty and I hate the feeling of feeling sweaty. Today, I wanted to do another tag video, and this time it will be Your Answers Can't Be Books book tag. I have seen so many people doing these at the moment and I love them. It's so nice to learn more about the people in this community. I watch their videos every day, but so many of us are only ever talking about books, which are fantastic. But there's so much more to a person than the books that they read, even though the books that they read are very integral to probably who that person is as well. For example, take Ellie from Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. She loves autumn and she loves decorations, and her background always looks incredible. And she had this statue that she bought because that's what she's really into. Michelle Lexi is really into reptiles, and we got to see this gorgeous lizard on screen named Digit, and Digit was amazing, and I love animals so much, and I also grew up with reptiles, so it's nice to see other people who love them as well. There's so much that we can learn about each other in this community, and it is really nice learning those things. I was tagged in the comments section to do this video by Ellie from Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. Also, a big shout out to BookBud, who originally created this tag, because lots of fun. Question number 1. What is something that you own way too many of other than books? So I moved countries back in May of this year, so I actually had to get rid of a lot of things, but I do very much enjoy makeup and also vintage fashion. I have been getting a bigger collection of both different types of makeup and 1950s pinup dresses and petticoats. My god, I got a really good one and it looked incredible. I love it. So even though I don't own lots of this stuff yet, I think that's very much a yet and eventually. I think I will soon, probably not too far in the future. It is nice to grow my collection. And I have always bought quite nice dresses that I find secondhand, and a lot of them do tend to be towards the A-line flare aesthetic that is also very common in 1950s retro swing dance, and I love it so much. So I just kind of want to take it to the next level and be very extra when I go out, just to like go to the shops and get some food, and I just turn up in like a petticoat and full makeup. But I love it. I love it. I don't do it for anyone but me. It brings me joy, and that is the most important thing to me, is doing something like that or like YouTube. I just want it to bring me joy. And if others like it too, that is fantastic. But those are the things that I love and that I am slowly getting more of. I own a lot of lipstick. I do own a lot of makeup. I need more makeup. I want more makeup as well. I don't have enough lipsticks colors. Maybe I shouldn't have got 6 slightly different shades of red. But they're all important, and you can match them with different clothing and on different days. They're not the same shade. They just sometimes look it, but they're slightly different. Question number 2. What is something that you do for fun that's not reading a book? So at the moment, my options are a little bit limited by the amount of energy I have during day, because I do have a condition that lowers the amount of energy and amount of stuff I can do. But the things that I do like to do, that I still do at the moment, is I actually really love video editing. So there's a lot of that. I help run the 17th Shard Discord and forums and servers, and it's all Brandon Sanderson based. Come check us out. I haven't for a while, but I'm also a writer and staff member on the Coppermind, which is the Wikipedia for Brandon Sanderson, and that is a lot of fun. Oh no, all of these things are based around books still. Oh no. I guess that's my life. I have figured out one thing that I do sometimes that is not book-based. I crochet. I really like to crochet, I started in December so I could surprise my then fiance with little crocheted bee, and we have it downstairs now. And I had to do this all in secret because I was living overseas and then had to deal with sending it by post. And it was like 3 weeks. And he got this big package for Christmas. And even though it was like 2 weeks beforehand, I told him, you have to open the one that looks like this because I can't do this anymore. And I love crocheting. I've made quite a few things. There's more downstairs. These are just the ones that sit on this shelf up here. Balancing all of those was really hard, and trying to move around without dropping them was really hard. And now they're scattered on the floor, but you can't see it, so you don't know about the mess. The most recent one that I finished was this very cute little Pooh Bear who sat for a very long time being just a head and a body, and his arms and legs sat off to the side, and I didn't put them on. But at the moment I am creating a octopus, which I think will be about this. It's just taking me a while because I kind of only do it when the motivation hits me, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Also, I now have little kittens, which make it kind of hard to do stuff with wool, and I normally crochet in my bedroom where the kittens are also currently sequestered. I guess kittens as well. I spend a lot of time looking after and playing with my kittens, or just spending time with them. We both, well, there's two of them, we all take midday cat naps, and it's amazing. A group cat nap between the three of us. But other than that, I really enjoy walking when I feel up for it. I can't currently do this next one, partially because COVID, partially because health, but I used to do circus aerial, specifically hammock. I have done the trapeze, I've tried lyra, and I've also done tissue before, and I love it. I love it so much. It's my favorite form of exercise, but I'm just not up for it right now, and also I'm still trying to find a place in the area that I now live in that actually does it. I think I've found one, but I found them before COVID, so I don't know if they still do it, so I'll have to check. Otherwise, there is a circus school like 40 minutes from me, but 40 minutes either way is a little bit of a drive to go to a class. But I love it. My favorite form of exercise, and I have never felt stronger than after doing this consistently. Being able to finally almost do pull-ups and flip myself in the air using my muscles is really nice. That's a great feeling. That's something that I worked on for a long time, and like once I got there, I felt really good about myself. Question number 3. What is something special or important on your nightstand that's not a book? I've got 2 things. I have a very big nightstand because it's not actually a nightstand, it's a chest of drawers because I wanted a really big top surface area. It's great. I really like it. But the first is this jar of notes that my husband got for me. They're tiny little envelopes, and in them they have like a short message on a card. You can choose all of the messages. It's just lovely. It's nice to have something there for if you're having a bad day and you just need something that gives you comfort and you need to know someone cares and have that reminder. You could just pull one out, open it up and read it. And I also gave one to my husband a couple of years ago. It was very nice for him as well, particularly because we were distant. And being far away, it is so nice to have that thing you can reach for to remind yourself about your partner when you can't get a hold of them because they're asleep or something and you feel lonely and you just want that comfort. Nice to have something there. So I've now got one of these kind note jars as well. They are a bit expensive, but to me it was worth the cost, and worth the cost for my husband when he bought me one as well. But I can understand, maybe not for everyone because they are a bit expensive. What I really liked about this one is that you could write your own, but they did have ones that you could choose or use as a basis. And I'm not the most creative person when it comes to writing little love notes and stuff. It was helpful to have things to look at to get ideas. The other thing on my nightstand that is really sentimental to me is this plushie of Kira Barris from Card Captors, and I loved that show when I was a kid. It is one of the earliest shows that I remember watching, and I was so into it. The premise is there is a 10-year-old girl who goes into her father's library one day, finds a book of magical cards, specifically this book and these magical cards, and they all escape, and they all have a spirit of some sort in them. Good God. I love that show so much. I do have some of the collector's editions as well, and I have brought this back to books. Oops, I'm bad at this video. It's manga turned into an anime. The It's just gorgeous, and it has these symbols on the back, which are all relevant to In Well. But yeah, I was a massive fan, and I'm still a massive fan, but now I'm an adult, and I have money, and I can buy things to fuel my being a fan of these things. But I've had this since I was like 5 years old. I think I actually have two. Found him. I found the other one. I don't quite know where the second one came from. It might have been one of my stepbrothers, but I've definitely had at least one of these since I was 5 years old, and have carried him halfway around the world because he is special to me. Because there is the nostalgia of this show I love, but also the nostalgia of childhood. Childhood nostalgia is wonderful. Question number 4. What's something that you buy at a bookstore other than books? It depends on your definition of bookstore in this case. I buy a lot of my books secondhand, so they come from secondhand stores where I routinely buy dresses and sometimes shoes and sometimes knickknacks and sometimes kitchenware and maybe sometimes jewelry. There was a secondhand store that was 30 seconds from my house, and it was the place I would go when I was bored and I just kind of wanted to get out of the house, and I would always tell myself, you're not buying anything today, Jess. No spending money. You're just looking. And I was actually pretty good at that, honestly. Yeah. But at the same time, the books were like $2-3. So if I found something, I was like, I want to get that book. It was very easy for me to justify just getting the book if I wasn't also buying like a $15 dress as well. So I used to buy a lot of other things, pretty much anything you'd find in a secondhand store, as well as books from that store. But if we're talking mainstream bookstores, there was a couple I used to go to. One of them I definitely bought board games at. They had a massive selection of board games. They also had trinkets and things like that. They had this whole section of just kind of humor toys, and I bought things there. It was just lots of fun. It was a very big bookstore that kind of catered to a lot of different niches, and definitely had those things you could just pick up on a whim and take with you. The other bookstore was Kinokuniya, which is a Japanese-based bookstore, and they had so much more than books. They had books, they had manga, but they also had all of this creative stuff. Like, you could get calligraphy paper there, figurines, plushies. I've bought mini Lego from them, and you make a thing and it's about this big at the end. Those were a lot of fun, but there was so much more in this bookstore than just books. It was massive. Absolutely massive. At least in my mind, it was really big. That was a great bookstore. If you're ever in Sydney, honestly, I just recommend going to Kinokuniya. It's in the middle of the city. They have one of my favorite bakeries there, and some of my favorite cake as well there, so you can just buy that down. There's just so much to explore. So I do very much recommend, if you're in Sydney and want to go to a bookstore, go to Kinokuniya. It's really good. Dimix, the other mainstream bookstore I was talking about, is just up the road as well. But Kinokuniya is much more of an experience. Number 5. What's a fun gift that you've received that wasn't a book or a gift card for books? I don't actually get many gifts at all that are book related. And I think part of this comes from people never know what books to buy and don't want to buy the wrong thing. But I have had a gift card to a bookstore, definitely. But a lot of the gifts I get, they're not book related, and that's okay. I love surprises, so I can definitely see the issue if someone wants to ask what books I want and then still have it as a surprise. So what I think I'll do is link my Goodreads list of books that I don't own to people now. These are the books. But even then, I'm real picky about covers and things that fit the aesthetics that I enjoy looking at. For example, I love the Girly Ants Brandon Sanderson books. I love how clean they are. I love that I can put them all on a shelf like this, and I think that looks amazing. I like the striking white. Whereas I'm less of a fan of the American covers, and these are my husband's books. They're the same story. It's still a fantastic story, but I am a bit picky about book covers. Anyway, I haven't answered this question at all. I'm doing so badly with this tag. I have received a number of fantastic, well thought out gifts from my family. Some of them I'm not going to show because I don't want to have to go all the way downstairs. That sounds really hard right now because we have a cat gate at the top of the stairs and I hate climbing over it. But my nana, who is very good at craft and makes a lot of projects, she's made me so many things. She has like a little crocheted owl that she made me. Oh, actually, the elephant in my background. She made this elephant as well. There's a second one somewhere. I don't quite know where. This is really nice. She makes a lot of those and then takes them to the children's ward at the hospital so that she can donate them to the children that are sick and hopefully bring them some sort of comfort or joy. She also made me this blanket. It's like this big knitted blanket and it's wonderful. It's nice and warm, but also when I first received it was when I first started talking to my husband Eric and we did phone calls every day. There is not very many good places to sit at my workplace that allows you to really have a phone conversation, but is also comfortable. But there was this nature strip across the road, but it wasn't grassy, it was all wood chips. But I now had this blanket, so I would put it down every day and have myself a little picnic and talk to my husband, and it was fantastic and I love it so much. It's a really good blanket. I also have this Banjo-Kazooie, which my brother gave me a couple of years ago. I love this video game. He loves this video game. When I was in high school, we would play this video game together and work our way through it, and it was a lot of fun, and it's such a fond memory that I have. So that meant a lot, and I'm not tearing up right now. The last thing is my mum paints rocks as a hobby, and where she lives there's this whole culture of you paint rocks, you put them around, other people pick them up and replace them with their own rocks, and things move around, and then sometimes it gets posted on the Facebook group when people find them. And it's like, oh, where did this make it to? So I actually have a couple that she gave me. I put one with Zelda iconography on my mailbox, and that one did disappear. And she gave me a couple that were Mario themed, and she gave me this. And you can't give me something that looks this good and has so much work and effort put into it, and then I'm not gonna keep it. Of course I'm gonna keep it. So this is the one that I've kept, and there's a Shy Guy that sits in my bag at the moment that I still need to put out somewhere. I appreciate all these gifts that mean something, and like honestly I don't mind if someone's like, I don't know what to get you for a gift, here's a bottle of wine. That's fine by me, but these are the ones that stick in my head, definitely, and the ones that probably mean the most. Question number 6. What is a YouTube channel that you watch that is not related to books? I used to be very into the Vlogbrothers videos and would watch them religiously. I've fallen out of it now, but I know that happened before and I just went back to it. They're lots of fun, they're short, they're interesting, and Hank and John Green have such a good rapport. Just lots of fun to watch. I also watch some of their offshoot channels like SciShow and Crash Course, which are really helpful and really informative as well. I've definitely gone to some of the Crash Course history series and just used them to help prompt my brain for an assignment, to help me try and understand a bit better what is going on so that I can continue on with my assignment. And of course, I'm not going to reference that in a university essay, but it was just for me in the back of my head so that I could at least have an understanding at the starting point. And the SciShow videos are so interesting. You can learn the most fascinating things. I loved one that was about symbiotic relationships between plants and animals and bacteria and viruses. They're just insane. They are a lot of fun. I definitely recommend them. The 2 other channels that are not book related that I would recommend is Jessica Kellgren-Fozzard, who is very into vintage, always looks amazing. She recently had a baby with her wife, and oh my god, their family is so cute. Jessica also has issues with disabilities, so I like watching when she talks about her experiences and her knowledge of what it's like to live with a disability, because it helps normalize what my life is like. It's nice to have someone who has different issues but kind of understands at the same time. So I really like her videos on disability, and she does very good informative videos. But god, I love her fashion videos and her vintage videos. I watched so many of them. Considering my answer to question 1, I'm sure this is not at all surprising. The second channel is Morgan Drinks Coffee, which I stumbled across through the YouTube short, and her shorts are hilarious. These interactions between a customer customer and a barista, and they're just really funny. But I like her longer videos as well, and I love coffee, so have learnt different things about different types of coffee, and she's just very funny to listen to and entertaining to watch. But I would say those are the main non-book channels that I watch. I'm not actually good with subscribing to people. I'm definitely better now that I've started my own channel and understand the importance of someone subscribing. But before that, I was very bad at subscribing because I would just go to my homepage and pick whatever looked interesting. The last question is about tagging other booktubers to do this tag. I don't feel like I know people well enough and am too shy to know who to tag right now. But if you're a booktuber watching this, consider yourself tagged and that you should do this tag. It's lots of fun, even though I was very bad at staying on track. I was off the rails for definitely parts of this video. But thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.